We are in Jamaica. We are in Kingston, Jamaica, the capital city where all goes down. Again, we are live on the bridge at the Project Star Initiative. We will be launching, tonight is the launch of the Project Star Initiative, and a very important initiative, we believe. We're so excited to have partnered with the private sector organization of Jamaica to be a part of this social transformation initiative, shifting mindsets towards community transformation and renewal. Hashtag everybody forward. And I'm joined now with the president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, the PSOJ, Mr. Keith Duncan. Mr. Duncan, how are you?
Very good, Christine. And good evening to the Bridge Nation.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the Bridge for coming on board on a very important
important. Let me start with shifting mindsets towards community transformation and renewal. What does that look like for you?
What that looks like is we're operating in a very low trust environment at this point in time, and people are skeptical. People are people are not seeing where transformation. They're not seeing how can we really turn all the negatives into positives. And we have to change that mindset. We have to show that if we come together as a country, all stakeholders from all walks of life, that every community can thrive. And if we work with oneness, working together as a people, we can turn the trajectory and transform all
And that's exactly what we want. We want thriving communities, thriving communities. With the launch of Project Star tonight, what is the impact that you would like to see, and what's the timeline?
So this project has a 5-year lifespan, and we're going to be in 10 communities for 4 years. We choose communities based on data, it's evidence-based, data-driven, based on what we see as violence in terms of not only crime, but domestic disputes, any violence-related incidents, and we see that as areas that need some level of intervention. Now, intervention is about social programs, and intervention is about economic transformation. You cannot have the social programs and you then don't create the opportunities for young people, for entrepreneurs, for businesses. We must also deliver increased economic activity, increased jobs in communities. And that's why the role of the private sector is very important. And working with NGOs, community-based organizations, and those who are already doing interventions, the plan is to really work with them to effect social transformation, from children, through at-risk youth, through parents, through psychosocial, because the people them stress out. Them stress out. The real deal is that they're stressed, and they're going through post-traumatic stress disorder. Every day they wake up, them facing gunshot.
Yeah.
You know, they have to put the children under them bed for sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So that is stress. So we have to address all of those issues on the social side, and we have to address the economic side activity, because after you change mindset, you are able to transform people's outlooks. Then you need to show them the opportunity. There's a path for me to achieve.
Now, as you talk about these different changes, which are so very important in today's climate, the world over, not just in Jamaica, the world over, after, I can't even say we're coming out of a pandemic because we're still in a pandemic, that has helped to compound the stresses.
Oh, Lord.
The mental stresses, everything that you could think of. This is such a timely project to be launched. You talk about community. The hashtag is everybody forward.
Everybody forward.
Everybody.
Everybody. Every individual, every community, every business, every private sector, NGOs, that's non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, youth clubs. Everyone come forward. Let's work together as a country to shift it. Let's change the trajectory. Let's change the possibilities. It is all possible. We can do it.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and not just here in Jamaica. We're also talking about the diaspora. There are more people living outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica.
Trust me, the diaspora is where we really are targeting to, because so many people want to give back.
Yes.
So many people want to see Jamaica thrive.
Absolutely.
And what they would want to see is effective structures put in place with proper governance, proper
is key. Yes. Yes.
Value of their investment in Jamaica.
Yes.
And we're going to be reaching out to them, but we're not only reaching out for them to see how they can fund it through crowdfunding. We're going to say, how can you participate, bring your skill sets to bear on this project?
Wow.
So we want the diaspora fully engaged. This is when we say Jamaica, we're talking about Jamaica in a yard, Jamaica in a foreign.
Yeah. Wherever. And not just Jamaicans, lovers of Jamaica. There are so many people that love the culture. That want to be a part of any little thing. When you talk about when a high school alumni wants to give back.
I understand that.
Oh my goodness. These things are so important. So how can persons in the diaspora help out?
What they need to do now is we'll be reaching out with a program. And of course, we're going to be working with the bridge. Right? And we'll be reaching out to the diaspora. You can go on our website, projectstar.com, projectstarja.com. There's a place there where you can show how you can participate. Mentoring, what skill sets you can bring, psychosocial. Awesome. What is it that you can bring? And we will bring you in a structured way where you can offer of yourself, your time, yourself. And if you want to contribute, donate, you can also. You know what I mean? So go on the website, see what the program is all about, and jump on board.
So when we talk about being overseas and giving back, right? And we're talking about giving back in your time and of your resources. Let's talk about the money part. One thing that I know is an issue for persons in the diaspora is transparency and accountability.
Of course.
So when we do these things and when we give back, we want to know that our money is actually getting
working, and they're getting value for the money and is reaching to the beneficiaries
How do
and
we
achieving
ensure that
the
Project Star
outcomes.
is doing that very
Well, we're going to be listing this project on the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange.
Wow.
And there are reporting rules around that.
Wow.
That means we must report on a minimum a semi-annual basis on the key performance indicators of the project. And we're going to be also updating on the progress of the project as we move through communities. Not only that, we're going to be reporting through social media, and we're going to be reporting through traditional media, so we keep the public fully engaged as to the status of the project, because this is also a learning project, because we can't pretend we have all the answers.
No.
When we go into the communities, because this is community owned, when we go into the communities, we are facilitating. The communities will own this through community transformation boards, community leaders, community-based organizations, the churches, and the Social Development Commission, the schools. They will all participate in a community transformation board and build out that social and economic transformation plan for that 4-year period. And they will own that program and all the programs. We are going to be learning, and every community is different. So we're going to be learning as we go along. We have what we call a learning framework to this project, where we constantly engage with people, with the wider public, with Jamaicans here and abroad and other people, the experts, and with a level of frequency we continue to engage, get the ideas, incorporate them, what have we learned, and continue to fine-tune this project as we go along.
How are you engaging the churches? Because as we talk about community, right, all of it comes into play. The church, schools, the community centers. How are you going to engage those parts?
Well, we have done a wide level of stakeholder engagement, and we're going to be trying to engage a ministerial fraternity in each community, all the churches in each community, for them to be a part of this program. So when we say a whole of society approach, we mean that we must bring all the stakeholders to bear on this program. Bring their ideas, and not only ideas, but to contribute actively in this program.
How do you choose these communities?
The communities are chosen based on data. We look at crime data and we look at hospital data. Hospital data actually gives you the domestic disputes. From domestic disputes, that's where you get major crimes and things evolve. And because crime is like a disease.
Yeah.
And then you will have to find the root of the disease. You go to the source of the problem, and that is usually reflected in violence data that is not reported to the police.
Yeah.
So we're using both forms of data, and what we do is we have the, I would say the king of data in Jamaica, Dr. Paris Leo,
Okay.
and Mr. Lauren Peart from Blue Dot. They do all the data analysis. So it's evidence-based, data-driven to choose the communities.
Again, so as we talk about communities, right, and transparency and holding persons accountable, we look to people like the JCF and the JDF. Are they involved? Will they be a part of this?
The JCF is definitely, JCF is involved as a partner.
Okay.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we know that there have been trust issues over the years
Yes.
with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Make we just call it and name
Yes,
it.
yes.
It's real. But the Jamaica Constabulary Force over the last couple of years has been redefining itself. They would want to build trust in the communities. Of course, we know there are issues and there may be bad eggs in the force still. But they're on a process of looking to deepen relationships with the communities. And actually the commissioner, when we spoke on this program, he says this is so essential.
It is.
Because the police force operates with different tools in the toolkit. Social transformation is one of those toolkits.
Yeah.
And they must deepen. So they are deepening with police youth clubs, they're doing all this effort.
Yeah.
But you have to have hard policing.
Yes.
It's an element of policing. So therefore, the JCF welcomes this program, but they themselves want to deepen the trust, and we have to help for the police to deepen trust with the communities and at the individual and at the community level, because it's a challenge.
What's the rubric to determine the success as you go along?
The Rubicon, what will determine the success as we go along is that we see with the children, more and more children in school.
Yes.
What we would
Important.
see is more and more young people being employed, greater business activity within the communities, that communities have access to finance, that we bring more and more people into the formal net, more people have bank accounts, they have jobs and they're working, and so it's increased economic activity within the community, more jobs, increased business, and what we want to see is corporates do strategic investments in the community.
Oh, I love that.
In the community.
Yeah. Everybody follows.
Because there are real opportunities.
Yes.
Within these communities.
Yes.
And what we will see at the end of the day is socially cohesive. We will see a community that is working in oneness
Yes.
to achieve transformation of their communities.
So as you talk about oneness,
Yes.
growing up for myself, especially as a mother, I know that they're saying it takes a village. It took a village to raise
Exactly.
me. But nowadays there's this, you can't talk to a pitney, or if
Yes.
if a teacher reprimands a child, is fight. And how do we get to this oneness?
Well, that oneness starts with the mindset change. It starts tonight. The conversation starts tonight in terms of saying to Jamaica, let's come together as a country. Let's look at all our communities, and we want all our communities to thrive.
Yes.
And everyone needs to bring hands and heart. Every individual, bring it to the table. Let's work together as a country in oneness.
In oneness. Hands and heart together as a community.
Yeah.
It's a huge undertaking, especially with the temperature of the communities across the island. People are missing.
Yeah.
People are unable to go to the supermarket to buy adequate food for their
Exactly.
families. There's shortages just everywhere. So this is a timely conversation to be had. A huge undertaking by the PSOJ. Why was it important to do this?
Why it's important is because we have to develop our human capital. Our human capital is our people. If your people aren't sufficiently engaged in the growth of themselves, their communities, and the wider economy, then you won't have the human capital to drive growth in this country.
Yeah.
Jamaica is a gold mine. What we need, and we have been losing productivity over the years. If we focus on our people, then our people will be better equipped to contribute, to find high value added jobs and not necessarily low value jobs, which we had over the years. And we bring them into high value added jobs. In other words, with better pay.
Yeah, yes, we need it.
Right,
we need it.
yeah.
Do you think that we have a generation lost as it pertains to transformation? Do you believe that? I know I, for one, believe that we need to start in schools
And that's
with
right.
the transformation mindset.
So guess where we start? At the 4 to 15-year-old. a lot of programs focus on the at-risk youth between 15 and 24. No, let's start focusing on the early childhood
Yes,
up to
important.
14 years old.
Important.
That's where we're going to put some focus. And on the parents
Yes.
that are parenting these,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of parents just don't know, have the
Yeah.
skills,
Yeah.
because they become parents very young,
Yeah.
and they just don't have the skills to do it. We need to support parents and show them the way,
Yeah.
the mothers, the fathers, so they take more responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah.
you work on the children, you work on the parents, you work on the at-risk
Yeah.
youth, you train them, you give them technical skills, because we're going to work with heart too.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Okay,
say to the
great.
private sector, what jobs do you need?
Yeah.
Because we have a labor shortfall in Jamaica
Yes.
right now. But we have a whole bunch of youth that are not actively looking for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We now need to train them up, get them ready, remedial, mindset
Yes,
change,
yeah.
let them know what it is to work in a formal
Character building
environment,
and all of
let
that.
them know it's impossible, that they don't
Yeah.
come from wrong
Yeah.
address, and then we get the private sector to realize that they can't label people
Excellent.
because them come from down the road.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Duncan. We take a quick break.
Yeah.
More here at the Project Star Initiative launch, shifting mindsets towards community transformation and renewal. More after this.